Okay, okay. Can you hear me now? All right. I know. It's been a minute since I. Okay. Can you hear me now? It's been a minute since I've been live. Forgive me. Forgive me. All right, guys. Welcome to Trendsetter Crypto TV. I'm your gracious host, Solo. It's been a minute since I've gone live. Is anybody still around? People probably don't even know who this is. They're looking at the thumbnail. They're like, "Who's that?" I'm just like I said. I'm trying to grab people's attention, right? Shout out to Leland H. What's going on, Brody? How you doing, man? Hey, it's good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Trey, what's up, Trey? Yeah, Trey, listen, Trey was on my BUTT. He's like, yo, when you going live, man? My bad, brother. Listen, my bad. I've been going through life, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's talk about it, because some people have mentioned in the comments, yo, when are you going live? Where you been? Everybody knows, you can always find me on Patreon, right? That's where I post exclusive content, right? In regards to my latest thoughts regarding crypto, along with things that I'm investing in, where you get access not just to my 2025 crypto tiers list, where I rank projects that I review in that year, right? These are projects that I review that are new to me, from 0 to 100, right? And we have a shout out to my NBA 2K guys. You'll appreciate this, but we have different ratings, right, from 0 to 100, in regards to what makes a project a red flag. Here you see the red flags projects that I consider trash. Her AI token was a project that had great potential. A lot of you guys probably don't even know what her was, but it was a token that basically was in regards to AI girlfriends. Okay, now what did Grok do? They released their AI girlfriend, right? But this project was a pump and dump scheme. That's why it got red, right? And so I review different projects. I look at not just the market cap and what it does, but I also look at the circulating supply. I do the tokenomics. I look at, do they have a dev team? Do they have partnerships? Are they listed on exchanges? Do they have notable partnerships with other institutions or company? Now, this is the 2024 list that you're looking at. I don't mind sharing the old list, because we're already on 2025. And 4 months from now, we'll be on 2026. So you get access to that being a Patreon member. You want to tune in, okay? Hey, shout out to Leland, man. He dropped. Hey, hold on a second, man. Do I still have Don DeMarco? See, I can't even use Don DeMarco anymore, because everybody named Mama on YouTube is now using it. But real ones know who, outside of battle rap, who was the first to really popularize Don DeMarco. Real ones know, right? I can't even share the clip anymore, because StreamYard is so finicky. But real ones know, man. Shout out to H. Leland, man. I appreciate that. Okay, so guys, I want to say this, and I always want to give credit to where it's due. This video was inspired by a video that I watched this morning, and this video hit me. Okay, this video really hit me. It's called "The Crushing Before the Wealth Transfer. Believe One More Day." Right? This is by a gentleman. I don't know him personally. This is just the first time I've seen his video. And he's talking about, people that are waiting for the wealth transfer. And in this season, how a lot of people, especially Christians, are going through hardships and hard times. And I got to agree with him. You guys know I believe in Jesus, and that's, my God, right? But it's not just Christians that are going through hard times. It's also regular folks, right? I know people that are, lost their job because of the rise of AI, right? And that's something that we've discussed on this channel plenty of times. People that are going through hardships. I got a buddy, and I'm not trying to put his business out there, but his girlfriend just, left him, and his dad recently died. For those of you that don't know, my mother passed away earlier this year. But there's so many people right now that are going through difficult times. And we have to remember that in life, while we're excited that crypto now has the Genius bill, and now they're talking about the Clarity bill, and you have different states now looking at Bitcoin as a reserve currency and things. All this great news, right? That we still have to deal with life issues. We still have to deal with family, friends, wives, some of you husbands. There's only 2 women, you know, loved ones, and sometimes life can really hit you hard. Because you ever notice that before you get a blessing, you always go through this like wild thing. And this is, let me give you some Dragon Ball Z bars, because I know you guys love it when I do. But every time Goku has to get to that next level to beat his opponent, he has to really, first, you notice that Goku gets his butt whooped, right? Every time Goku, same thing happened with Cell. Before Goku could fight Cell, even, he didn't get his butt whooped. He had to do what? He had to go through training, right? He had to go in the hyperbolic time chamber, and he had to level up with Gohan, right? But here's the kicker. Goku didn't really level up in regards to him beating Cell. He leveled up so that way Gohan could beat Cell, right? And I know some people are like, what is this guy talking about right now? Nothing is making sense. What I'm saying is, anytime you go through in life, for you to get to that next level of your blessing, sometimes God puts you through training, and the training isn't fun because you're getting your butt kicked. Your bills are due, money is tight, your girlfriend is riffing, your wife is tripping, your family is going through all types of stuff, right? And it's tough, because some of us are dealing with these issues, and then you sometimes think to yourself, is it just me? Because TikTok and Instagram will have you thinking everybody's living their best life, and everybody's sipping on Mai Tais and just driving around in beautiful cars. Like, TikTok and Instagram will really have you believing everybody else is living their best life except for you. You in the prayer closet, you crying, you're begging God, like, God, please help me. Please, Lord, please. Like I'm not asking you, Lord, to take the pain away, but at least give me the strength to get through it. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Through that training is where God really molds you into the person, into the human being that he wants you to be. And the crazy part is, because I know I'm going through that season, is sometimes when you go through that wilderness period, it's like you want to resist it. You know what I'm saying? You want to resist it because we're so used to being comfortable. And God said, yo, you're worried about a piece of, dirt. And I'm just using that as a metaphor. I got diamonds for you, but you're trying to cling on to this dirt. Let that dirt go and come get these diamonds, right? But, hindsight is always 20/20, right? So when you're going through a tough time, you're so focused on that tough situation that you're going through that you don't realize that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes, guys, before you get to that light, when you are walking through that valley, right, it gets dark. And there's no glimmer of light. You're just walking and you don't know. And that's how crypto was in 2022 and 2023, right? I mean, those were some dark days. I thought 2018 and 2019 was dark. No, 2018 and 2019 was nothing compared to 2022 and 2023. Those were some really dark days. Shout out to Shadow Zulu in the building. What's going on, brother? I see you, Shadow Zulu. What's going on, brother? Lonzo Turner says AI confirms SHX will be moving 90% of ACH payments by November. That's 80 trillions annually. You know what? I still got my SHX. Shout out to the SHX gang, which reminds me, actually, I got to be real with you, Lonzo, because I was looking at these coins, man, and we're definitely going to talk about SHX too, because I feel like I haven't talked about SHX much lately. You know what I'm saying? Lonzo says also SHX main headquarters down the street from Ripple's, and Ripple is the biggest investor in SHX stronghold coin. Really? Is that verified on blockchain, or you just hyping it? Like, if it is, that's great. I'm telling you now, these utility coins have been running, right? Like SHX did a run not too long ago. We know that XRP is doing its thing. XPR, right? XPR Network, shout out to them, right? XCN had a crazy run earlier this year. I know everybody loves meme coins. You guys know me. I'm still in SHIB. Love my meme coins, but the utility coins, I think, are the coins that you definitely don't want to sleep on. So I want to give credit to where it's due. By Believe One More Day, right? You guys check out the video, the crushing before the wealth transfer. I'm not here to bite or copy anything. I'm just here to give him his props because I know I've been feeling like this, right? 2025 has been crushing. Everybody I know is going through it. And I know that, listen, I don't try to get on my YouTube on Trendsetter and tell you guys about my problems because you guys have your own problems, right? You guys come here, you want to watch crypto information and you want to be entertained. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm here to provide. I know that I don't like watching my favorite YouTubers, especially crypto, and they're talking about how their life sucks and crying about it. I get it, but here's the reality. We're human beings, right? Just because I'm making a video, it doesn't make me any better than you or anything like that. No, not at all. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I bleed. I breathe, right? Remember when Superman, I don't know, I just thought about this. Remember when Superman woke up from his slumber? Remember that in the movie Superman? And then, the Justice League is trying to contain him. And then he sees Batman and Batman just triggers him, right? Because Superman and Batman, they just don't like each other like that, right? Initially, they didn't, even in the comics. And then Superman grabs Batman and flies up like 50 feet in the air. And he says, "Do you bleed?" Remember that? Superman looks at Batman and says, "Do you bleed?" Like, yeah, I definitely bleed for sure. You feel me? For sure. Alonzo says Stronghold also has its own YouTube channel and they're on record. Their payments quarter for XLM and XRP. Facts. Yeah, Stronghold token. Listen, Alonzo, I got to get on it, bro. When I say on it, I'm already in SHX, right? But I'm talking about like keeping up with the project, right? If there's any late developments that they have, let me know. I'll gladly pull it up because right now, listen, guys, I'm going to be real with you. And by the way, make sure to get into the Patreon. But I've been telling myself, for the last month or so to get locked into crypto, right? And what does that mean, right? Like, it's not just what I always do is when I wake up and I check the prices and I'm watching different news, but it's also with the content. And you guys are going to see a lot more content this August. I'm bullish, even though things are turning bearish, okay? We're at a 53 Fear to Greed index right now. There's a lot of bah humbug because of these tariffs talk, because of, Trump versus Powell, all that stuff, right? And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to play a video and we're going to talk about it. But XRP below $3, it was at 275, right? Bitcoin is at 113. Solana, listen, Solana boys have not been found. Hold on, let me log in, man. Solana boys have not been found ever since Solana went below $200, man. And you know why I know Solana boys have not been found? Because that's like where everybody is part of my Telegram group. Shout out to the Telegram group, right? You get access to that as well if you're part of the Patreon. But yeah, man, shout out to the Solana boys because, hold on a second, man. Because Solana boys, ever since Solana, right, Solana has gone away. This is my Telegram group. It's been kind of quiet, right? We've got a couple people talking here. I don't want to show too much because it's exclusive. But ever since Solana has dipped, because most people in my Telegram group are Solana boys in regards to that. Solana. XRP is at the 12 marker. Pepe, shout out to all the Pepalonians. I call Pepe Le Pew, is at 10, this might be a good place to buy. Enough financial advice. You guys know I'm not a financial advisor. Oh, Ondo. Don't sleep on Ondo. Please do not. Don't fade. Listen, bro, I was talking about Ondo at the top of 2024, right? This is a project that's going to be a trendsetter in the space for sure. You know what I mean? Lonzo Turner says, I chose SHX over XLM last year at the bottom. That's what's up. You know what? I think SHX is going to do phenomenal. The project, you guys know, for me, I like the project. They have a very great team. Let's go on their X and see what they got going on. You know, I think that the only thing that's the project needs more of is to be listed on exchanges, but I'm not complaining because I want this project to be low right now so I can see Lonzo. This is how you know, Lonzo, you see this? Lonzo, I know you know I'm not capping. You see, I'm following the SHX team on X, right? But let's just take a look here. Okay, so the Stronghold locked 60 billion SHX in a 5-year smart contract using contract escrow using Soroban. That's what's up. Hold on a second. Can you guys hear the audio? See, that's the problem now with the audio. Can you guys hear the audio? See, that's the problem now. Hold on a second. I have to see, because the StreamYard, I'm using StreamYard. They have this weird stuff now where you have to do this weird stuff now. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to do it this way. You guys let me know in the chat if you can hear it, okay? Can you hear it? Let me know.
Crypto governance is the term we use when we're talking about how a blockchain network makes high-level decisions. So who has the control? Who gets to make decisions about something like updating a network protocol? There are many different governance structures in use today. Two terms, on-chain and off-chain, are important for understanding governance. For on-chain decisions, network participants vote through a process embedded within the blockchain. For off-chain decisions, the network developers and core users discuss changes through other channels. Visionary guidance encourages differentiation, which leads to more variety in the overall crypto space. Most blockchain networks use hybrid governance structures that combine on and off-chain decision mechanism to varying degrees. We have a lot of choice in how we make choices.
Okay, so yeah, shout out to SHX, man. You know, they yo, why they got my man with the weirdest glasses though, man? But yeah, so yeah, definitely, this is one of those projects, right? And you know what? Here's the thing: if you're a veteran in this on the channel, like H. Leland and Shadow Zulu, Lonzo, I don't know how new you are, bro. I don't know how long you've been watching me, but shout out to you, brother. You know, there's different projects, right, that are doing their thing, and right now, everybody's I remember last month when crypto was, you know, the Genius bill got passed, and all of a sudden, you know, people that I hadn't talked to for 6 months are reaching out and they're asking me about crypto again. And I hadn't talked to them for 6 months, but they reach out, right? And that's the thing. Like when the market is popping, people reach out, they text you. You know, all of a sudden, my homegirl, she bought XRP at 248, and then it ran up to like 3, you know, whatever it ran up to, right? And she's like, I'm finally doing good, blah, blah, blah. People are happy, they're good. As soon as things go down, you don't hear from people, or people message you, oh, it's going down again, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, as that's just gonna happen, because at the end of the day, listen, these elites, they don't want you to be wealthy. They don't want you to be rich. So they're going to keep, you know, they're going to creep it up a little bit, then they're going to dump. They're going to pump it up a little bit, then they're going to dump. And then it gets tiring. And so one of the things that, you know, I always tell you guys in crypto, you got to have ice cold veins like D'Angelo Russell. Remember when he hit the 3-pointer and he was pointing to his veins? You got to have ice cold veins where your emotions don't become affected by the market. Sometimes it's easier said than done, because nobody likes to see their portfolio down 50%, 70%, or even 90% back in 2022 when FTX crashed. Nobody likes to see their portfolio down damn near 90%. Excuse my language, but let's keep it real, right? And of course, when your portfolio is up 50%, 90%, 1,000%, everybody's happy. Oh my, everybody's your friend. Everybody's happy. The live streams are popping. Everybody's feeling good, right? Because everybody loves that euphoric feeling, right? Because that's what we live for in crypto. Let's keep it real. We live for seeing, Solana go from literally $3 to, $80 or whatever that crazy run Solana did a few years ago, right? We live for seeing, for those who were in SHIB, we live for seeing SHIB when it had like when it had 6 zeros, right? Because it's got 5 now. When it has 6, and some of us have been here since 7 zeros. Hello, yes, right? When it had 7 zeros and was dropping zeros and going up and just going crazy, and every time it would drop a zero, your portfolio would go up by 10 grand or something, right? We were loving those days, and those days are gonna come back. They're gonna come back. But right now we're going through the crushing before we go through the flourishing, right? And everybody's talking about Fed cuts this and Fed cut that. Listen, I said this on Patreon that in May, they're not going to cut the rates until September. That's prophetic. That's not me. That's prophetic. And so all the stuff that happened just confirms the prophetic intel, because what's happening? Oh, no Fed rate cuts in July. So it's September. And I'm not saying I made the prophecy. I didn't say that. But I'm just saying that, everybody's waiting for that. And it's like, you know what? This is time right now to accumulate more. And you know what? Prices are probably going to go lower, right? Before they go up. That's just how it goes. And so, once again, not a financial advisor, right? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what my mindset is like. Okay, I can dollar cost average more into XRP. Okay, I haven't been buying a lot of SHX lately. Shout out to Lonzo, you know what I'm saying? For giving me that nudge. Let me cop some SHX. You know what I mean? Let me get some XDC as well, right? Because I'm not gonna lie. And did y'all peep XLM yesterday? So yesterday, everything is going down, right? I kid you not. XLM was at 39 cents, and then it went down to 36 cents yesterday. And you know what I did? I did what everybody would do. I set a limit order for 35 cents. Of course, XLM never went below 36 cents because, 35 cents is a huge line of support. So if it broke that 35 cent, then, anything is possible, right? And it didn't go below 36 cents. XLM is sturdy, man. But also one thing I like about XLM is people always complain, oh, yeah, XRP is too expensive, man. Then get you some XLM. Oh, XLM is too expensive. Then get XDC. XDC is like 9-10 cents. Oh, it's too expensive. Get SHX. Oh, too expensive. Listen, if you think it's expensive now, like I always tell you guys this, right? There'll come a time where you talk to somebody and they're gonna brag to you that, yo, I got XRP at $1,000 per coin. I just copped 4 of those. I got a great deal. Because remember, XRP was $3,000, then it crashed to 1,500. Now it's at 1,000. I got 4 at 1,000. I'm doing good. And I don't say this to mock them. I do not say this to mock them, guys. Let me be clear, because the same thing happened, right? When we got people who bought Ethereum. I was buying Ethereum back in 2020 when it crashed in April to 120. I bought an Ethereum. I should have bought more. I should have threw my life savings at it. I bought 1 ETH for 120. And then when Ethereum went to 4,000, people are like, oh, well, no, it wasn't even 4,000 at the time, 2,000, right? People are like, oh man, I'm glad I got ETH for 500. And I'm thinking to myself, I got ETH at 120 and I could have gotten way more than just one, because at that time I had the funds, you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. The point I'm trying to say is not to mock people that jump later into it, but we're so early, man. Imagine knowing what you know now, right? XRP is 289. And imagine, like vibe with me for a second, guys, okay? Vibe with me. Imagine 5 years into the future, okay? You have a lovely wife and you have a nice, little modest house, right? Imagine XRP 5 years from now is 10,000 per coin. And then you're like, man, XRP is 289. That's too expensive. But how would you feel knowing that you knew that XRP was 289 back in 2025, and then now in 2030, XRP is 10,000 per coin? You'd be kind of ticked off, wouldn't you, if you faded it, wouldn't you? Right. And you know how we know that to be true? People did that with Bitcoin. Anybody remember Da Vinci? Now, Da Vinci don't know nothing about XRP, but Da Vinci was telling people to buy Bitcoin back in 2012, and people thought he was a lunatic, right? Ethereum was 50 cents 10 years ago in 2015, right? People didn't think Ethereum would be what it is today. Now it's 4,000 per coin. So for us who've been in this, conglomerate of ours, and I say that loosely, but, in our community, that's a better word, in our community, right? In the Trendsetter community, the X community, as I like to say, XLM, SHX, XCN, XDC, right? We know what was going to happen. And shout out to HBAR Algorand as well. We know what's going to happen. I mean, they're telling you every day. The receipts are so crazy now that they don't even try to hide it no more. I seen this article. They don't even try to hide it no more. Look at this. Look at this. XRP is the smartest cryptocurrency to buy with $500 right now. This is USA Today. This is the same type of news outlet that, 4 years ago was posting Warren Buffett talking about that Bitcoin and crypto is rat poison squared. This is the same outlet that posted that 4 years ago, that Bitcoin and crypto is rat poison squared. Now, 2025, they're telling you XRP is the smartest crypto you can buy with $500 right now. They're not lying. They're not lying. And so, guys, I'm telling you this right now. It blows my mind how mainstream media all of a sudden has pivoted on a dime and talking about crypto every day like it's the best thing since sliced cheese, which I don't disagree with. Crypto is the best investment. But you notice how now the mainstream media, have y'all peeped how mainstream media now is taking crypto seriously? And I'm talking about on CNBC, right? They're doing literally 10 to 15 minute segments a day on crypto, right? Literally. I'm going to play part of this and, then I'm going to, I'm going to, well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it and then I'm going to chime in because I think that this is very important for us to understand now that everything, it's mainstream now. And here's the thing. And what I'm telling you is the truth. If you think of 10 people that out of all those 10 people, how many of them know about crypto? And maybe a lot, right? Maybe you would say, and when I say how many know about crypto, how many of them know more than just Bitcoin and Ethereum? Maybe 2 or 3. And then if you think about the 10 people, how many, and I don't want you to say, oh, well, all my crypto friends know about, no, I'm talking about people in real life, in the flesh, not your Telegram groups or the cats that you talk to on X, but I'm talking about people that you know in the flesh, 10 people. How many of them are in crypto?
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. The crypto market wobbling to start the month of August after President Trump unveiled his modified reciprocal tariffs on dozens of countries last night, and the market weighed weak jobs data this morning. The move triggered a wave of risk-off sentiment that drove traders to dump high-risk and
Right. So they're dumping high-risk assets, right? So what does this mean for us? Because they consider retail dumb money. I don't think we're dumb. I consider us little money. We just don't have as much money as they do. Just because they have more money than us doesn't mean that they're smarter. Here's the thing. It means it's a buying opportunity. That's how I look at it on the positive side, right? Shadow Zulu, would you agree with me?
Volatile assets. The price of Bitcoin dipping to $115,000 after hitting a 3-week low of $114,110 overnight. Ether and Solana's Sol token fell 4.5% and 5% respectively. Crypto stocks hit the hardest, Coinbase leading them lower following disappointing earnings, down 14% today. ETH Treasury stock Bitmine down 9%. For the week, Bitcoin and Ether each fell more than 1%, and Sol dropped more than 7.5%. Crypto is coming off a winning month, but could soon hit the brakes amid the new macro uncertainty. August is a month usually characterized by lower trading volumes and increased volatility, and Bitcoin could trade range-bound until a new macro catalyst emerges. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Coinbase investors also making sense of the company's latest earnings, which dropped.
Salute to C-Rob, bro. I see you in the chat. I've never seen her before. Is she new? I mean, I don't mind. I mean, we need more. Anyway, let me get out of there.
After the bell yesterday, those numbers revealing light subscription revenue amid an expected lull in trading volumes. Analysts were expecting a weaker second quarter in the wake of the market's excitement in Q1, when traders positioned themselves for the upside of the Trump administration's promises to create more favorable regulatory conditions for the crypto industry. As Washington's focus shifted to tariffs in the second quarter.
Isn't that crazy? And guys, we're going to talk about the White House report as well. Because right now, I'm going to be real with you guys, man. This blows my mind every day. Because I remember when the media was like, they were laughing at crypto. Oh, it's internet money. Ha, ha, ha. Like, it's just a fad. Remember they were calling it a fad, internet money, this and that. Now they have 10 to 15 minute segments every day. CNBC on crypto. Don't believe me? Watch CNBC. And I don't even watch CNBC because, legacy media is Babylonian news, in my opinion. But, this is the weird part about the elites. They have this weird thing where they kind of have to tell you what they're going to do first before they do it, because then you agree to it. It's like a spiritual principle. I don't know what it is, but, it's something about where if you agree with something, then it makes it more successful, right? And it makes sense because think about it. If even in the Bible, it talks about if two or more come together and pray, then God will answer the prayer, right? But there's definitely some sort of spiritual principle behind it. And of course, these elites, they twist it and they pervert it and manipulate it. So that's why you see articles now come out talking about, oh yeah, XRP is the best investment for $500. Where was that article a year and a half ago when XRP was 50 cents? Remember? Because at this time last year, XRP was, matter of fact, it wasn't even a year and a half ago, was it? I remember buying XRP in September for 50 cents. I was telling everybody on Patreon, yo, I just bought some XRP at 50 cents. I have a feeling that'll go up. Okay, that's all it was. It was a feeling. It wasn't no dream or inkling. It was a feeling. It was 50 cents. I bought some. 2 months later, and when Trump gets elected president, XRP ran on a tear to like 360. It was the best purchase I made in 2024. No cap.
Speculative trading by retail investors slowed across centralized crypto exchanges, while crypto ETF inflows and buying by crypto treasury companies supported prices. Also yesterday, Coinbase said it's planning to expand its core trading app beyond crypto. The newly imagined everything exchange will include tokenized real-world assets, stocks, derivatives, prediction markets, and early-stage token sales. Coinbase's vice president of product told CNBC the new offerings will roll out in the next few months, first to U.S. users, followed by a gradual international rollout based on jurisdictional approvals. The expansion puts Coinbase in even closer competition with Robinhood, Gemini, and Kraken, all of whom have recently opened tokenized equity offerings to users outside the U.S. Coinbase's announcement yesterday came hours after the SEC debuted what's called Project Crypto, an initiative to modernize securities rules and regulations.
Time out. Wait, the SEC is debuting something called Project Crypto? Remember when Gary Gensler, aka Mr. Burns, was talking about these cryptos are securities outside of Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. Remember how they were holding it back so hard? And you know why they were holding it back? I told you guys then, because these elites, they're thieves. They're wicked men. You think about it, man. These people want to rob us until we have nothing but lint and dirt in our pocket. We already got lint and dirt in our pocket. Now they're coming just for the pocket itself. So we don't have anything. What did that weirdo say from the World Economic Forum or conference? He said, you'll own nothing and be happy. Remember that? They're already training you. Streaming, hello. Oh yeah, you can you have thousands of movies you can watch on Netflix, but you don't own any of them. You can't download it and save it to a folder. Why do you think pirating is coming back? If you would have told me 2 years ago, yo, pirating is coming back in a major way, I was like, huh? Yeah, pirating is coming back. LimeWire. Oh, some of y'all are too young. Y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, what is he talking? Pirating? What's that? Because nowadays, even when you go Spotify, you don't own it. So as soon as you don't pay the membership or you miss a payment thing, boom, you're cut off. You don't own it. I mean, listen, I'm old enough to remember there used to be this company, I forgot. This company, they would send you a little advertisement in the mail, and then you could get 5 CDs for like $1 as an introductory price, or 5 CDs for $10, right? And then you would just tell them which CDs you want, pay it, and they would send you the CDs. And then every couple of months, you could get CDs for a very low price. Does anybody remember that? Or is everybody under the age of 35 here? You know what I'm saying? But I remember I used to do that when I was 21, 22, because, I was broke. So, you get 5 like CDs. Back then I used to listen to rap. I was young, right? You get the new Jay-Z, get the new Nas, get the new Beyonce, whatever, right? I was into worldly music. You get those 5 CDs at the time. And then, for a very low price. I forgot the name of that. But you notice that they don't have that anymore. Right? And so now you also notice people are now going, not just want to own things again, physical copies, right? But now with tokenization, it allows you to own things as well, but it's on the blockchain. So imagine now you have a streaming service on the blockchain that says, hey, we're not just going to allow you to stream this, but also you own part of, the song, or you own this and that. I don't know if they'll do it with songs, but you own this. And it's on the blockchain. They can't take it away from you because you own it.
Regulations to allow for crypto-based trading activity. The development from the SEC came amid the surge of interest.
Yes, that's what. Yes, Columbia House, Greeny Green, exactly. That's what it was. I used to, do Columbia. I did that for about a year or two in my early 20s. Yes, that's what it was called. Facts.
Speaking at a conference yesterday afternoon, SEC Chair Paul Atkins said he has directed Commission staff to update antiquated agency rules and regulations to unleash the potential of on-chain software systems in the U.S. securities markets. Speaking on CNBC's Squawk on the Street this morning, Atkins discussed more details about the announcement and explained why he thinks some cryptocurrencies should not be classified as securities.
The Howey test applies to a term called investment contract that was in the securities laws back in the 30s, and the Supreme Court construed that in the case of orange groves and oranges, and investors in that, whether or not they had a security or not. And so that's the law of the land as far as investment contract definition goes. But in that there have been, over the last 80 years, a number of applications of that. But it's, in the 21st century now, we have, at the SEC, we have authority that we can use to help construe that and develop that farther in here into the 21st century. So we aim to do that. So not every crypto asset is an investment contract or therefore security. And
listen, when Trump released his own meme coin, you feel me? Listen, I remember when Millennia came out. You know how I remember? The only reason I remember, and you guys are going to roll your eyes, is I was at the Chinese buffet and Millennia came out and I was at the buffet and I was eating and I saw it go crazy. Thank God that I didn't FOMO in, because I really did want to FOMO in, because I didn't FOMO into Trump, but I was going to FOMO into Millennia. And I'm glad that for whatever reason, I'm at the restaurant and, you know, that I was at the Chinese spot and they had some suspect Wi-Fi, and I'm not going to, you know, trade crypto on the public Wi-Fi. You guys know that. And my cell phone connection wasn't all that. So I just saw a pump and then I saw a dump and I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't FOMO.
We're out to give people certainty in that with good rules that give them, the guardrails to innovate and to be able to take things to market.
All right, let's keep talking about this marriage of blockchain and Wall Street for our main story. Crypto World Mackenzie Sigallo spoke with Leo Wald, the president and CEO of Sol Strategies, about the rise of tokenized assets and crypto treasury strategies.
So I want to start our conversation with just your reaction to this wave of adoption that we've seen from Wall Street this summer when it comes to blockchain technology. So the Circle IPO, the rise of crypto treasury companies. You know, for a long time, the industry has talked about that aha moment when TradFi jumps into crypto. So is this that moment that we're in right now? Or are these advancements what the industry has been waiting for?
That's absolutely right. We see tokenization as the most important and disruptive technology since electronic trading, really. So you nailed it. When BlackRock came into the game and understood the importance of spot ETFs, that,
you know, a couple years ago, a lot of you guys were mad at me when I said that women were going to come into crypto. And as soon as the women coming into crypto, that's when the world will pay attention. Oh, you guys were so mad at me. You're like, why is it got to be about women? Why you got to say it like that? Because guess what? Wherever the women are, that's where the men finna be. That's facts. Why do you think men go to bars and clubs? Do you think, listen, I'm going to be real. When I used to be younger and I was in the world, right? You guys know I'm not glorifying it. I'm not glorifying it, but I got to tell you this. When I was in the world, do you think I went to bars and clubs because I like to listen to music that was shattering my eardrums? No, I went there because that's where the women are. And I realized, and I saw this in 2021. I peeped it. As soon as there was like an explosion of women crypto content creators, this and that. And guys were super chatting like crazy. And here I am. I've been talking about crypto since 2017. Nobody cares. But you go to one of these women live stream, and I'm not hating. I'm just keeping it real. The cats is live streaming through the roof. Like it's a Twitch subathon. You know what I mean? And I realized, like, at the end of the day, when women take crypto seriously, then a lot of men will. Why? Because women, and you got to say this, any woman that's in crypto right now is a trendsetter, because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of women in crypto. There's always going to be more men, even right now. But imagine, bro, it's one thing if you're talking to a woman, you know, about crypto, but now you're talking to a woman that's actually, you know, you find her attractive and you think she's cute. And she's not just talking about, oh, yeah, what's up with that Bitcoin? No, she's talking about, yeah, I just bought some XRP and I'm trying to figure out if I should move it to my ledger or if I should keep it on my Soul Flare wallet or whatever wallet, right? Because there are women right now in crypto, bro. I saw a woman recently brag about buying XRP, and then she took a trip to Spain and Morocco with her XRP profits. And now you got women in crypto. And I'm just like, I see what's going on, right? But I remember I said that, women are going to be the ones that are going to bring people into crypto. Because if women, you guys got to understand, women are the biggest consumers in the world, meaning that they buy the most things. Women are not just buying groceries, they're buying makeup, they're buying dresses. Most men, think about, when was the last time you bought some new underwear? I'm going to keep it real. Last time I bought some new underwear was on Amazon, maybe a year ago. You feel me? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the more mainstream it becomes, the more you're going to see this.
The rest of the players and some of the largest institutions, Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, they all understood the importance of those wrappers of the ETFs, but this is the next wave.
Okay, so let's talk about tokenized assets, which has gotten a lot of news this week in particular. Coinbase announcing that it's moving into that space with tokenized stocks as it announced earnings yesterday. Robinhood also reported earnings this week, and that company is making a big bet on tokenized equities. Do you think this move quickly gains traction, especially with the SEC taking a friendlier approach to blockchain? And how realistic is it too, given just the sheer undertaking of revamping financial markets?
Big questions. That's right. So you mentioned a couple things, yes. So exchanges like Kraken, Gemini, and Robinhood have all launched on-chain stocks for EU customers specifically. Now, what's interesting there as we move forward with this conversation is that they're in the form of tokenized wrappers for those equities. So kind of mirror off-chain shares. And again, I believe it was yesterday, Coinbase had stated their intent to do the same. So what is important and very interesting when I say wholly disrupt?
There's nothing more attractive to me than a woman that talks about crypto and tokenized assets. There's some people in the chat wondering, what are tokenized assets? Okay, let me break it down to you like in fifth grade terminology. And I don't mean that to insult your intelligence, but sometimes people overcomplicate things. So when you listen to something like this, it's snooze fest, right? This to me is my love language, by the way. I'm just being real. A woman talking crypto, there's nothing more than, to me, that's my love language, because it shows intelligence to me. Because you're not going to get a lot of women talk like this. But tokenization is basically taking real world things or stuff like real estate, gold, treasuries, invoices, like maybe you just bought a house or something, and turning them into a digital token on a blockchain so they can be traded 24/7 or fractionally owned or tracked transparently, right? So basically it takes certain things like I said, real world stuff, and it puts it on the blockchain. It gives it access, speed, transparency, security, interoperability, and it also cuts out the middleman that takes forever to do it. And this is why, shout out to everybody telling me about Proppy, but I've been known about Proppy. We've had that on the 2024 crypto tiers list. So I don't know why people come up, oh, you don't know Maple Finance, Ondo, Treasuries on chain. We've been talked about Ondo. I don't talk about Maple Finance, but I know about Maple Finance, right? But I've been telling you about Ondo since over a year and a half ago. Facts, okay? Trade finance. We're going to talk about that. That's what I focus on. XDC. Okay? We're going to talk about XDC, trade finance, okay? You could even put SHX under there if you wanted. Gold and commodities. Don't be surprised if you see gold and commodities being tokenized, and gold-backed cryptos are going to come in a major way, right? There's rumors that XRP might be backed by gold and silver. Okay, cool. But I do think that there will be gold-backed crypto assets or silver-backed crypto assets. I mean, we already got PAX-G, right? Right. So the thing is this. One of the reasons why I talked about RWA so much last year is because you guys who know me know that what's going to bring in mass adoption into the crypto space is what? Utility, adoption. By utility, I'm talking about something that has a pressing need in the real world that can make it, that crypto or blockchain can make easier. And so by making everything digital, by tokenizing it, now you can trade stocks. You can buy tokenized stocks now. So now imagine you live in Shanghai and you have a tough time buying American stocks, now you can buy tokenized versions. Everything is moving over digitally, blockchain. That's why AI, a lot of people talking about AI, and AI also is going to be integrated with blockchain, and you guys are going to see it, not just from where everybody's thinking about trading it, but it's also going to do things that I haven't thought of, that you haven't thought of. Things are changing fast and rapidly. And I know it may feel like, nah, it's not changing fast. Listen, if you would have told me in 2017 that there would be a stablecoin bill known as the Genius Bill, and that we're going to look at crypto regulation here within less than a year, known as the Clarity Bill, I would have thought that you were tripping, because I remember I was thinking in 2019 or 18 that if Bitcoin hit 50,000 by 2025, we would be doing very well. Guess what? Bitcoin just didn't hit 50,000. I mean, it did that back in 2021, but it hit 122,000. Things are accelerating. And as soon as regulation is officially on the books, the acceleration is going to go crazy. That's why you keep seeing XRP boys go and talking about, 589 and 77.7 or 10,000 per XRP. Why? Because when the institutions come in, it's going to create, it's going to be massive. This is one of the reasons why now you have legit pundits, I don't want to call them experts, but they're now sitting on CNBC. I remember I seen this one cat, and I'll look if I can find a video. He was talking about, XRP should be $1,000 per coin by the end of 2026. This wasn't no random YouTuber. This was like a guy, I think he worked for an AI company. I'll see if I can find that clip. But he was talking about XRP should be 1,000 per coin. And you got people telling me that XRP is too expensive at $3. What?
Disruptive is that Soul Strategies is trying to go that extra step, which is working with Superstate towards directly issuing our actual equity on chain. So fully compliant, interchangeable with the actual underlying security. So, you asked, why does it matter and what's happening in Washington and where we're getting to? I mean, it's obvious to anyone in the financial system that the current capital markets infrastructure is simply outdated. It hasn't had a major upgrade.
Yo, what's Shorty's name? I need to do an interview with her. Hello? I've been telling you guys that for years. And so have been other crypto YouTubers. I'm not saying I was the first. That's not what I'm saying. But that's the same thing. It's outdated. Why is it that I go to Walmart or Target, I buy something, you guys can take my money out fast, right? You take it out literally instantly. But if I go back to Target or Walmart and I want to return it, it takes sometimes 10 to 15 business days to get my money back. Can somebody make that make sense to me? Why does it take 10 to 15 days for me to get my money back, but it only takes them a day or less to take my money from me? Can somebody explain that to me? But see, now on the blockchain, no 10 to 15 days. Send me that in XRP or XLM. Matter of fact, I'll do you a favor. Send that to me in BNB Tiger. I need that. Okay, send that to me in BNB Tiger. Boom. It hits my wallet literally within 2 minutes or less, depending. Well, I'm talking about, you also got to think, how fast would traffic be? If you're using a coin like Hex, it might take 2 to 5 minutes. But with XRP, we're talking about literally seconds. BNB Tiger might take a couple minutes. Who knows? But the point I'm trying to make is this. It shouldn't take 10 to 15 business days for me to get my money back on something that I purchased that you guys got within 24 hours or less. That never made sense to me. How I can go to Walmart or Target or any store and they can take my money instantly or within 24 hours, but it can take 10 to 15 business days for me to get my money back.
Since NASDAQ in the 1970s. Delays like T+1 settlement cost billions annually, but also anyone in crypto has been used to 24/7 trading for so long and it works seamlessly. So tokenized equities solve that. So again, we believe it being, the biggest innovation. So now to your next question about the SEC. I mean, there's been a lot of developments that are driving momentum, and we believe finally that momentum to getting to that public companies on chain. So just quick notes, right? We saw the SEC approval for those in-kind creations for the ETPs and ETFs. That could signal openness. And then from the Clarity Act, we're really.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys right now, if you ever meet a chick like this, don't tell her you got crypto, because as soon as you go to sleep, your wallet is drained. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, player. She is too smart. No, I don't have no crypto, but I heard about. Can you tell me what's that called again? Solana? Is that? Yeah. Tell me about that again. Yeah, tell me.
Getting close to finally having some guidance from the SEC and across Washington to get there.
Now, these tokenized assets feel like the Wild West in some ways. You have the Robinhood OpenAI token, for instance, which OpenAI is not a publicly traded company, so buying a token doesn't give you equity in it. Now, we reported in July that EU regulators were scrutinizing those offerings.
Yeah. AI tokens are going to go crazy. Somebody's talking about oil. Yeah, oil is going to go crazy too. There's an oil stock people have been talking about in the Telegram groups, in the prophetic groups, also whale groups. I don't know I forgot the name, but it's like this oil company. But yeah, man. But another thing too, guys, and I have to do research, is anything to do with energy, right? If you have a legit crypto company that deals with energy, and I'm talking about like a new forms of energy, right? If the company's legit, that could go through the roof as well, because with AI, you need a lot of energy. AI uses a lot of I've been telling you guys this since 2021, right? When I was talking about storage, right? And people thought, what's storage? Why is he talking about that? Remember I was talking about storage? AI is going to need a lot of data sets and databases in regards to storing data, meaning that you saw in China, they built this like AI thing, and then they put it underwater. Why? Because it takes a lot of energy and then it tends to overheat. So they built this like AI data center, and then they dropped it in the middle of the ocean. Facts. Let me see if I can find a picture of that.
Obviously, this technology is very new and the industry is exploring what works and what doesn't. But where do you think this tech ultimately ends up? Does this get narrowed down to a very limited scope of publicly traded equities or institutional use cases? Or do you see it having broader appeal beyond that?
I think the opportunity for this to completely democratize across the world access to equities, access to public companies is what makes it exciting, right? It's the fact that you can.
It makes it exciting. And look at her smile. Talk about, is she reading from a script? She probably got the Chat GPT script up. That's what she, that's why she's smiling. You can tell she reading from a script, bro. She reading from a script. Ain't no way Shorty's that, and I don't want to besmirch her, but Shorty, you too good for this, man. I knew it. She was reading from the Chat GPT script. But regardless, right? And let me show you guys this real quick. And I'm not like trying to change the topic, but you guys know sometimes I talk about stuff and then, you know what I'm saying, other stuff pops up. But see, China built this first underwater data center. You see this? So basically, and this is not exactly how it looks, but this is similar enough. But they dropped it in the middle of the ocean. Why? Because these AI data centers, they get really hot and then they tend to overheat, and that can ruin, the data and everything. So they keeping it in the ocean to cool it down, because this is another thing that I didn't even know until I did more research. But AI data centers use a lot of water. They use a lot of water. Why? They got to cool it down. And that's why certain people are mad in Texas, and rightfully so, because their water bill has gone up ever since Tesla moved in, right? Their water bill they were complaining. I remember seeing a video. They were complaining about that they sometimes can't get water through the tub because there's no water. It sounds ridiculous, right? But this is very important. So that's one of the reasons why even in 2021, I was talking about storage, because AI data centers are going to be huge, and storage is going to do that, because eventually these companies, They want to get off the Amazon bandwagon because Amazon is going to charge them an arm and a leg, right? And so there's different ways to make money in crypto, and it's all about understanding the trends and then being ahead of them. That's why this is called Trendsetter Crypto TV.
Not only have that 24/7 trading that we just talked about, but globally, investors who couldn't access the brokerages, that you have certain minimums, requirements, documentation that's needed, can actually, buy these tokens and have, hopefully when we get to that state of actual common share ownership, have access. So to your point, I think that it's going to be a discoverable, healthy market of who is actually interesting to investors. Maybe it's not who we think. Maybe it's not the DATs, the digital asset treasury firms.
Okay, and let's keep it real. And I don't say this to, be dismissive, but let's just keep it real. The average person ain't gonna care about all of that. Let's just be honest. The average person, give me my Pepe Le Pew coin. Give me my Shiba Inu. Give me my Haktua. Give me my Haktua coin, right? Because that's more interesting. That's more sexy when you see a meme coin going through the roof, right? But let's keep it real. And yes, I do think meme coins are going to make a lot of people money. A lot of people are going to be thousandaires and millionaires. There's no BNB Tiger. Shout out to y'all. I saw somebody post that early in the chat, right? It's going to make a lot of people rich. But it's these type of assets, when we're talking about real world assets based on utility, right? Real world assets, those are the ones that are going to be around, 10, 20 years from now, if you're in the right one.
In the United States, right? Maybe it's some other completely different AI company. Maybe it's copper. It could go down the line, but getting it into that form means that investors around the world can actually access it and access it in a really meaningful way. So time will tell on what's most interesting.
So let's talk about those crypto treasuries that you just mentioned. Sol Strategies fits into this trend we're seeing right now of companies popping up that offer exposure to a particular cryptocurrency or network. Your company has been doing this for a while now. So first, I want to get your reaction to this rise in the corporate crypto treasury strategy.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it's been a year for sure. So we actually converted our company, which was Cypherpunk Holdings, the first MicroStrategy actually that was publicly listed, from a Bitcoin holding company to a Solana infrastructure company. So that's right. It was more of a transition from Bitcoin to Solana. So kind of interesting.
Listen. You guys know how I felt about Solana initially. I think Solana is going to be a moneymaker. I still believe that. I just don't have faith for Solana long term. I do think Solana can hit 1,000 per coin easily. And it's just that Solana got trash tech. That's my argument. And listen, I've been consistent with that. If you've heard my Solana arguments, I've been consistent, but I'm not an idiot. When I was fading Solana, I saw Solana drop to $9, right? And I didn't buy it. I should have bought it. That's probably one of my biggest mistakes in the last few years, because guess what? I got greedy. I wanted Solana to go to $7. If Solana hit $7, I was going to put in a stack. No, it never happened. Solana went down to about 8, and then it punched in reverse all the way up to $300. You feel me? And guess what? Okay, cool. I didn't jump on in 2022 when Solana crashed. But guess what? The next crash, and if we're in the middle of a crash right now, whatever. Here's the thing. I'm not jumping into Solana, but I'm looking at XDC. I'm looking at XRP, XLM, SHX. I'm looking at XPR, XCN. I haven't even brought up XCN today. Well, not much, right? Because I'm looking at those coins that got next. The ones that got next that are early. Because here's the thing. This is why you have to have patience. Because, if let's say you're an XCN or SHX, right now it's pennies. But what if I told you one day XCN is going to be $10, SHX is going to forget 333, SHX is going to be 1333. Would you believe me? Probably not, right? Because I'm listen, you have to be a visionary in regards to crypto. Like I told you, I've been here since 2017. I remember, and I keep saying this, but you got to understand where I'm coming from. I remember seeing Bitcoin at $1,500, and I said, "Oh, I missed it." Silly me, because if I knew what I knew now back then, if I had the conviction that I have now back then, I would have threw everything at crypto, my life savings, 401k, everything. When Bitcoin was 1,500, saw it at 1,500, saw it go to 20k, from 20k all the way down to 4k, then from 4k punch in reverse, 60k down to 16k, 122. I've seen it. So when people say, where does my conviction come from? Where does my faith come from when it comes to crypto? It's because I've been here long enough to see it. I was here arguing with financial advisors back in 2018 when crypto was considered a joke. Now, those same financial advisors that were telling me that I don't know what I was talking about, now they're telling their followers, buy Bitcoin on Cash App.
On that front. But you're right. So for soul strategies, I'd call us more of a maybe DAT++. So we do hold the importance of accumulating SOL on our balance sheet, but the key difference being we are a Solana technology company running validators. So full spectrum, we're able to accumulate SOL per share.
Okay, so that makes sense why she's so smart, right? Now this is the part that's going to trip you out. 5-10 years from now is not even going to be a woman like this. It's just going to be regular girls, man. Like, just, you telling your girlfriend like, hey, do you need me to pay for the Uber? Yeah, just send me some whiff. Shout out to dog with hat. I had a crazy dream that Uber was using it. I don't know if it was legit or not. It was a weird dream, but I remember in the dream I was Uber, and I don't know who the woman was, but I was just looking at the Uber, right? And then it says, do you want to pay with whiff? And I'm like, whiff? Why would I whiff? And I had whiff. I don't have whiff anymore. Shout out to Zebek Network. I see you too. But here's the thing, guys. What happens when you have people now doing XRP treasuries? Because now, MicroStrategy's doing Bitcoin. Soul Strategy, that's what she's talking about. They're doing Solana. What happens now when they have an XRP treasury? When companies are just, all they're doing is buying XRP, like what MicroStrategy or Soul Strategy is doing. And also they, maybe they're validator or they're doing XDC or XCN. Or what happens now when you have companies that go from a traditional model to a digital or crypto model? And people think, well, that sounds insane. No, but we're there. We're ready. We're starting, right? We're starting. And it's amazing because when you think of how far, and this is one of the reasons why, going back to what I was saying a moment ago, when Bitcoin was 1,500, I thought I missed it. And then I was looking at Ethereum and it was too high. So then Litecoin was the one for me initially, right? So when I heard somebody say, oh, well, I miss XRP, you sound insane to me. And I don't mean that to be dismissive, but I'm mad. XRP, bro, it's written, bro. If you understand, and like I said, we've done live streams, hours, interviewing different people on XRP and where it's going and what the utility of it. If XRP hits $1,000, like these experts predict by the end of next year, how are you going to feel that you faded it at $3? But the same people that didn't want to buy XRP at $3 were buying Trump coin at $40, $50. Make that make sense.
A much more meaningful, cheaper, more efficient way. So back to DATs. there is a proliferation of DATs this year. We did this rebrand and strategy change back last September. I joined as the CEO last June, publicly as July in the formal seat.
Okay, so we need to find out, is the HR person a man? Hey man, I'm just asking for a friend. Listen, I just don't want her to get clapped up. She seems like a really nice girl, right? I just don't want her to be on that big screen on a Coldplay concert. That's all.
So we've had a little bit of lead time to watch all of this happen. I am nervous about what we're seeing. I'll be very honest about that. I think the financing that we're seeing in the market now is starting to create a froth that concerns me, that retail will not.
A froth. Hold up. Let me Google the word froth. Damn, this chick is using all types of vocabulary, man. Hey, man, somebody get me her app, man, so I can interview her. You know what I mean? Because I'm frothing right now. I guess. Let's.
There is a proliferation of DATs this year. We did this rebrand and strategy change back last September. I joined as the CEO last June, publicly as July in the formal seat. So we've had a little bit of lead time to watch all of this happen. I am nervous about what we're seeing. I'll be very honest about that. I think the financing that we're seeing in the market now is starting to create a froth that concerns me, that retail will not understand the dynamics at play behind the hood because of those specific types of deals. We've seen that play out in a couple of the companies.
Shorty just said something amazing. And I still don't know what the word froth means. Hold on, let me Google it. But what Shorty's saying is exactly true. And I've said this to you guys before. And I don't want people to think that I'm being dismissive of people who don't get it. To be in crypto right now, at this moment, or even before, but particularly at this moment, it takes a certain person to be in crypto. And you have to have a certain willingness to learn. This is one of the reasons why I always tell you guys, do your own research, because the more you research it, you don't just learn about crypto and digital assets, but you also start to learn about the financial market. Why? Because it's all tied together. And I can prove it to you. When the stock market is down, crypto is down, right? Facts. When the stock market is up, crypto is down. Yeah, that too. But the point I'm trying to make is this. When you notice, remember when AI came out in 2022, ChatGPT came out at that end. Notice how all these crypto AI companies, all of a sudden, they went through the roof. You even had companies all of a sudden that switched what their main focus was, Theta, where now all of a sudden, oh, we're an AI company. Why? Because it was hot. And a lot of this, the crypto is not just about currency or peer-to-peer, it's technology. And when you have technology that's based on information, blockchain, that's value. There's a reason why Facebook makes more money selling to advertisers than actually having advertisement on their platform. Why is that? Because Facebook, in my opinion, is a psyop to gather information, right? They have all types of information, not just pictures of what you were doing 10, 20 years ago, right? Because there have been people on Facebook for 20 years now that have been posting consistently pictures of vacations, birthdays, holidays, their marriage, etc. But it's that information that has value. I may have gone over people's heads. But the point I'm trying to say is this. A lot of people don't, like, one of my friends said, hey, I was talking to my friends about crypto and they were shaking their heads and they're like, oh, it's just, they think it's not real because it's on the internet. Well, when you use your bank account on a credit card, you don't think that's digital money, aka internet money? When you tap in your iPhone at the dollar store, you don't think that's digitally? You're already using digital money in a sense because you're not giving them cash. You're definitely not giving them gold or silver, right? You're doing it digitally, and then it gets taken out of your bank account. And the blockchain is see, and this is for most people, it's not going to be much different. Why? Because they're going to use like a Coinbase card or their JP Morgan card. It's not going to be different. It's just now it's their credit card or debit card is going to be on the blockchain. That's the difference. Most people are not going to care or really see, like, I don't really get it. I mean, I still use my JP Morgan card. Yeah, yeah. But now instead of your JP Morgan card using an outdated system, now it's on the blockchain. See, for a lot of people, they're not going to get that because it takes research, it takes nuance, and it takes a certain level of willingness to learn these things. Because I didn't know all these things when I first started. And then I continued to educate myself. I continued to learn, reading different articles, watching tons of different videos, not just on crypto, but also on the history of money, because I really wanted to understand like the history of money. You gotta like shout out to the Dalio billionaire guy. I forgot, you guys know I used to quote him a lot, right? And so, you do that research. And so it takes a certain person with a willingness to learn, because the learning curve is steep. It takes a certain person with a high IQ to understand this now, because this ain't for no dummies. You got people talking about T-App and Shannon Sharp. That's what people like. A lot of people, this type of stuff, most people are not going to get it, because it takes a certain person that can understand these things, or a willingness to understand, and also a certain person that realizes that the financial system that we're in now is cooked. It's been cooked. Because what they're doing is keep running up the debt, keep running up the debt, keep running up, to the point that we're not going to. 2008, guys, all it did was just put a little bandage and rubbing alcohol on it. The next real crash is going to be a crash for the ages. You're going to see things in America that you thought you would never see. You're going to see poverty to third country like world levels. And I don't say that because I want that to happen. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you that to prepare yourself, because the rich, the divide between the rich is going to be you guys, crypto, people in crypto, gold, silver. I mean, didn't silver just hit a new all-time high a week or so ago? But it's going to be the have and the have. It's nuts. It's going to be like Elysium, the movie. It's going to be a struggle, and you're going to see food lines. You're going to see crime go through the roof, because when the new system hits, and then the average person is priced out, like she mentioned earlier. It's going to be riots. It's going to be fighting. And at that point, it's not the time now to be flashy, pulling up in Lambos and Range Rovers. At that point, keep your head low. Listen, even Batman, before he was Batman, he used to dress like a bum and fight criminals as a bum before he had his bat suit. So what I'm telling you is, before if you want to help people, then don't be flashy. That's all I'm saying. Because if you're at the red light, all right. And if you're from the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about.
Companies. So that's why we take a very different approach.
Last question for you. Sol Strategies is listed in Canada now, but you set a date of next Tuesday for a cross-listing to the NASDAQ. Talk to me about why that listing in the US is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're exactly right. We've been publicly listed on the CSE since 2018. Again, that Cypherpunk Holdings to Sol Strategies. But unlocking the US market in a more meaningful way than our OTCQB listing has always been crucial. Now, I come from the US ETF space here, having co-founded Val.
Hold on, Trendsetter, what are your thoughts on Coinbase stock in relation to that deal with Chase? I don't own any Coinbase stock. I think that, it would be a great to use as a hedge, but I don't own any. So I can't give you financial advice. But, my thing is this: is it tokenized yet on the blockchain? Hey, listen. If it's not tokenized yet on the blockchain, I don't really care. Matter of fact, let me read some of the comments. My XDC bag is packed, especially once I found out its capabilities. Yeah, we're going to talk about XDC a little bit more as well, because you guys know, in my opinion, and I know I trigger people whenever I say this, but XDC is the most underrated crypto of them all, right? And when I say underrated, what do I mean by that? I'm talking about a project that has utility, a project that has functionality, and also real world use case that is slept on for whatever reason. VeChain too is, but VeChain, I don't know. VeChain is, I don't know what they've been doing, man. Solana is a slow burn. What's up, Young Jay? Solana is a slow burner. You gotta wait. Majority of meme coins are backed by Solana. Trump decided to drop his meme on Solana. Yeah, you know what? That's why you don't, and this is the beautiful part about Solana, you don't even need to buy the meme coins to see Solana popping, because when people take profits, what do they have to do? They got to sell it back into Sol, right? Facts. Because with most of these coins, does Solana have their own stable coin? They may, but you got to trade it back into Sol. Then people usually trade into a stable coin, or at that point, they cash out, depending on what type of platform they use, right? Lonzo Turner says, I don't think Sol will be able to keep up with the new coins we have now. Even ETH got XDC at its neck. You know, I think that I think ETH is not going to be relevant in 20 years from now. I think that ETH is because ETH is slow, right? 20 transactions per se is too slow. It's too slow. Zebek Network, yeah, we talk about Zebek as well. Shout out to the Zebek gang. I actually bought some Zebek. If you're on Patreon, you would know that. But yeah, I bought some. Matter of fact, I caught the dip, the last dip. I bought some last week. Now I wish I would have bought more. Maybe I will be able to buy more because, you know, everything is going lower. But yeah, I got Zebek for sure. For sure. And matter of fact, I put Zebek, if you follow me on X, I put Zebek in my top 5 sleeper coins, meaning coins that are highly slept on. But yeah, Zebek is on that list for sure. For sure. You know? Okay, let's finish with Miss Leah Walt, and then we got to get moving and grooving.
Reinvestments. I know U.S. cap markets with my eyes closed, especially with crypto structured products. But entering in this manner, you're seeing similar investors who are looking for not just a DAT-like structure, but again, a Solana technology company. And we just think that it just provides a real unlock that we need to see and we need to be a part of.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World this week. We'll be back again on Monday.
Okay, shout out to her. And let me say this. I know people say, oh, Solo, why do you hate Solana so much? Because the tech is trash. I don't know any blockchain that can has had as many issues as Solana and people still like it. But that's why XRP Ledger is going to take over, XDC as well, right? But I will say this. Solana is a moneymaker. There's no denying that. So Solana will make you a lot of bread, right? So yes, I do think that Solana will, see 1,000 per coin. I don't know when. I think that 500 is more realistic, but I think that Solana is definitely because anything these VC, capitalists back they're not going to let it fail. And if it does fail, then they're going to do an exit run on it where they'll pump it and then dump it. But Solana is a moneymaker. So I still have my Solana memes. I consolidated. I still got some memes though. I might have to look into getting some more. But shout out to Zebek as well. Elysium will be on the moon base. Yeah, listen, Elysium, some of these, it's just crazy with the technology coming out. I was watching Black Mirror again just to watch some of the episodes. The one episode where they had the AI robot dog chasing after the lady and stuff. Those times are coming. They already have like police robots in ATL. When I went to ATL, remember I always mention that story. They had that little robot just at the mall, and it was a police robot. That's crazy. And that was in 2021. That was in 2021. Huh. Lonzo says MVTS stock is absolutely a gem from what I've been seeing. They're partnering with NVIDIA to innovate NVIDIA new chips for the new wave of AI. Yeah, people are talking about MVTS, NVIDIA, Palantir. They're talking about all of that, right? And yeah, you might see me talk about stocks in the future, but you guys know, listen, I talk more about crypto, but now that everything's becoming tokenized, there's going to be a lot of cross referencing or interoperability with even some of these companies, possibly with partnerships. And you already see it now. So that wouldn't shock or surprise me. Shout out to distinguished man in the building. What's up, brother? What's up? He says XRP will be where it's at for all financial transactions. Just posted in the Telegram that Japanese real estate will accept XRP for property purchases. Oh, for real? You posted that in the Telegram group? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up the Telegram here. Just that's you know what? Yeah. And so that's what Leah, right? The blonde lady was just mentioning. It's like there's so much stuff happening, but the average person, and it's not necessarily that the average person doesn't care per se, but the average person can't be bothered because if it doesn't affect them, then why would they care? But there'll be a moment in time. It may not be this year. It might be September. It might be December. But there'll be a moment in time, and I believe we're less than within 12 months, we'll see it, where people have no option but to care. And unfortunately, it's going to be a black swan event that is going to bring in a lot of people into crypto because a lot of people, remember there was at one point people didn't want to use debit or credit cards. And what happened? They phased out checks. Now they're phasing out cash. They've been phasing out cash for the last 5 years, right? You can't even get, excuse me, coins when you go to the bank. You can't do that. So sometimes, unfortunately, for people who are, there's some people that are, they're going to be late, and that's just what it is. Okay. All right. Let's look at XDC here. Okay. XDC, just major moves, major announcements. Let's look at XDC here because, one thing we do not tolerate on this channel is any disrespect when it comes to XDC. You know what I'm saying? But once again, the people that disrespect XDC are the ones that don't understand it, which doesn't shock or surprise me. Let me know if you can hear this, guys. And here I go.
Well, amazing testimony to the approach of XDC and certainly the company that you're keeping. So no wonder you're having such fine success. Ritesh, again, without giving away any secret sauce, can you share with us a bit about what's next? What's the roadmap looking like?
See, first of all, we are sitting on a very interesting time, and we are also excited about tech side. We did XDC 2.0 and it's big.
For those who don't know who he is the co-CEO of XDC Network. Okay. Mr. Kakad. Okay. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Sitting on a very interesting time, and we are also excited about tech side. We did XDC 2.0 and it's become very stable. It's a very secure network now. Just recently we launched ETP for XDC in European region with Euronext. 21 share is our issuers for ETP. And now the best part is we are going to apply for ETF for XDC.
Oh, wow. You hear that? I don't know if you're hearing it first, but hearing it early. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a very exclusive one that we are going to launch ETF. So we are applying with SEC within a couple of weeks.
Wow. Congratulations. Well, amazing testimony to the...
And you know what? That's major news. And once again, I heard somebody say in the Telegram group, and I'm not throwing shade, I'm just being honest. Oh, if XDC don't do nothing, I'm going to sell. This was like a couple weeks ago, right? And this isn't even a person from my Telegram group. Somebody posted it from another group, right? And I'm just shaking my head. And then 2 weeks later, XDC gets listed on Binance, right? XDC now made the announcement that they will have an ETF. And then XDC also made another major announcement, right, that they have teamed up with Brazil's Verde Capital to tokenize 1 billion in real-world assets on the XDC network. You guys, you see that? This is by CoinDesk right here. They're going to tokenize 1 billion in real world assets on the XDC network. I mean, this is major. Okay. So when we talking about tokenization, right? This is going to bring a lot of traffic to the XDC network, a lot of institutions, right? And you have to, it blows my mind. It blows my mind because you have to understand that, okay, now we're not just dealing with an asset company or tokenizing 1 billion, but now you have real estate that's going to be tokenized on the blockchain. You have contracts tokenized on the blockchain, and they're going to be using XDC, right? That's just what it is. And so this is going to bring in a lot of traffic. It's going to bring in more institutions. XDC is the most underrated crypto of them all because XDC continues to bring in partnerships, real utility, and nobody talks about XDC. They're just a byline on a lot of people's radar. And XDC, for people that, I missed out on Ethereum, I missed out on Bitcoin, I missed out on XRP. XDC is still very reasonable, 9 cents. And even with the Binance announcement, it didn't really do much, but XDC is, I can see XDC hitting $50 within 5 years, 50 to 100 within 5 years, 5 to 10 within 2 years, 1 to 3 within 1 year. You feel me? I'll leave it at that because at the end of the day, that's just what XDC is a sleeper. And you guys know I always like XDC, but especially shout out to Quincy. When Quincy came through and he talked about XDC and the passion, and then the fact that Quincy can have 1,000 people in his live stream and he never has to talk about price. He never has to talk about charts because he actually understands the tech aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? In regards to Corda and all of that, and just how massive this is. And here's the thing. Let's keep it real. I never claimed to be the most intelligent, intellectual. I'm none of that. So I'm going to talk to my people. And I'm going to keep it simple for y'all. XDC is going to be cha-ching moneymaker. Facts in the future. Like I said, 1 to 3 within 12 months. 3 to 5 within 2 years, and then 50 to 100 within 5 years. If I'm wrong, I'll throw a pizza party, a Little Caesars pizza party, and somewhere in the middle of Kansas or Iowa. You're welcome to come. I'm not going to pay for your plane ticket, but I'll have pizza there, and you can eat it for free. How about that? Okay? We'll do it like that if those numbers don't hit, because it's inevitable now. It's inevitable. All XDC now needs is just to get that Coinbase listing, and then we're doing the Rick Ross Running Man dance. You feel me? Talking about White House, because I was talking about the White House earlier. They came out with 166 crypto report a couple days ago that basically automated clearinghouse, SHX, where you at, Alonzo? Right? Talking about all these different acronyms, terminology. Also talking about what crypto is, how to tax it, right? They have different graphs and such like that, explaining hard wallet, soft wallet. This is whitehouse.gov. Please don't go to whitehouse.com. You'll see something you don't want to see. Whitehouse.gov, okay? That's where this is at. This is major, guys. I mean, what needs to be said? Why are people sleeping on this in the chat? Why are people sleeping? Not you, the individual watching, but why are people sleeping on this? Alonzo says, HBAR stands to be the biggest digital asset to me. Its superior security values over a blockchain could tokenize all high-level crypto onto hash graphs. Okay. I think HBAR will do very well. I think HBAR will do fantastic. Will it do better than XRP? No. And that's my opinion. Will it do better than XDC? No. That's my opinion. But that doesn't mean H-bar is a slouch. I think H-bar is going to do very well. I think H-bar is, and Algorand too. And also Quant. We keep like ignoring Quant, right? We can't ignore Quant either, you know? And I mean, I've made videos on all of these already, but you know, that's just what it is. Lonzo says, I really don't think it will take that long at all, but that's a great outlook. I think I might chill on VeChain and pump my XDC bag. Agreed. Young Jay says, another gem is WorldCoin, who's no. Young Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that the coin where they wanted you to like, they wanted to scan your eyeballs? Is that's the WorldCoin now? Correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't listen. They don't need all of that. They don't need my fingerprint. They don't need my eyeballs. You know what I mean? Mark of the Beast. Look, I'm not going to be facetious, but WorldCoin, Mark of the Beast, scanning your eye and your fingerprint. You know what I'm saying? You know, and this is one of the reasons why the future scares me, because I was on Reddit, right? And I was reading this Reddit thread, and some guy was talking about, man, I can't wait to have a computer chip in my brain. And I was just like, oh, man. You know, I mean, forget about AI companionship robots. Like, you're really going to have people that are going to try to do the cyberpunk 2077 thing, where now transhumanism, and I've talked about this before, where people are going to be like, you know, they're going to replace their real limbs with robotic limbs. Why? Because it's going to make them faster, stronger, more intelligent. And then the thing that makes you human, you're stripping your soul by every time you replace it with a robotic limb, to the point that you don't even know if you're human anymore or machine. You know what I mean? So yeah, Young Jay, I'm not a fan of the coin, bro. You know, because when I hope you sell when you hit profit points. That's not financial advice. Brock says, I know it's a sleeper, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, not to spam, but your mentality, what do you see for the future of Zebek Network? Yes, I like Zebek. I think Zebek can have a good future, with especially when we're talking about dealing with payments in regards to payroll for employees, right? Because you're going to have a lot of these institutions that are going to need to switch over to the new digital system. And a lot of these companies, they don't have the infrastructure right now, right? A lot of these companies, they probably might want to work on their own blockchain. I could see Amazon or Walmart doing it, but they don't have the infrastructure right now. And I think Zebek is a project that has massive potential. I know I got in after the run, but I've been trying to buy the dips on the project. I don't really have a future prediction in regards to price or anything like that, because for me, Zebek, like I said, I just bought some more last week, and I'm just, like I said, I'm still learning about this project, but I'm very familiar with the project. People were telling me in my Telegram group about it, and I kind of faded it. And I will continue to pay attention to it, because at the end of the day, a lot of these institutions, you know, these retailers, companies like that, now when things move over to the ISO system or language, how's that going to impact payroll? And I think Zebek has a real world utility case in that regard, in regards to solving that problem, right? So I'm definitely, like I said, I do own Zebek, and I'm actually trying to accumulate more. So yeah, definitely a good project. Definitely a good project. Did I grab a bag of suey? Suey! Shout out to, listen, okay, I probably shouldn't say this because people might think, nah. I'm going to say it anyway. But anybody ever see the streams when your boy Speed travels? like I show Speed be traveling to all these places, and then he's got all these people saying Suey. I think this project, I feel like I don't have any, I'm not invested in it, but I think it could hit $50 because it's, once again, it's got a lot of VC capitalists, pushing it, and Suey is what Solana thinks it. Okay, let me get out of there. But I could see it hit $50. Suey, I think Suey's gonna make a lot of bread, bro. And this is a project too. I remember when this project was 77 cents. And I was like, it's too much. And then it just punched in reverse all the way to $5, $5.35. But I think it can hit 50 easily. Yeah. Because it's got, once again, it's got VC backing. It's listed on numerous exchanges. I can see Sue or Suey, however you pronounce it, do very, 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 very well. Super duper well. Super duper well. This is Distinguished Man says XRP, HLM, HBAR algos, all you need to build a portfolio for the future of finance transactions with blockchain technology. Again, stay away from memes and hype coins. Look at real world utility. If you only had those 4 coins, you would be fine. I don't disagree with that. I wouldn't. I think memes are okay, but the problem with memes is that with meme coins, especially the micro cap ones, they're super risky, right? So personally, unfortunately, Distinguished Man, we do know that most people are only going to care about coins that are cute and fun or that have crazy pumps. And not to say that HBAR or XRP or XLM don't have crazy pumps. They do. But to the average person, if they only have, $1,000 or less to put in, a meme coin that went up 300% overnight is more attractive than if XRP went up 13% overnight or 30% even overnight. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that XRP can't go up 200, 300% overnight. I'm not saying that, but with meme coins, the possibility is more likely. And so to the average consumer, it's also more affordable and, it's community driven, right? But yeah, I do agree with you that people need to focus on utility coins as well, because I see certain people that are just focused on meme coins and they're so bullish on the meme coin that when the meme coin doesn't do anything, then they just kind of get discouraged. And this is one of the reasons why, for me, I like to diversify my bag. So I got a little bit of meme coins here. I got some utility coins there, some RWAs, a couple AIs. Trying to get more into gaming coins again, because that's going to be huge as well when GTA 6 comes through and crushes the buildings, right? So I think that for me personally, keeping it diverse is one of the keys. Real Star says, I think ZBCN acquisition of science card, prepaid college debit cards that also fund science initiatives. If Zebek goes anywhere from 1 cent to $1, we're good. Yeah. And for me, Zebek is like, I look at Zebek as a long-term hold, meaning that I wouldn't sell. Even if Zebek hits a penny, I wouldn't sell because I don't have a lot to begin with. But that's not a bad thing. I can buy more, but I don't want to over leverage myself because I still have so many coins, even though I've been consolidating for the last year or so, Velo is absolutely a gem, chosen by BlackRock, short-term treasury, bonds, tokenization, gold, silver. Yeah, I still got some Velo too. I haven't bought any, but yeah, shout out to Velo. And once again, so many projects, so hard to keep up sometimes. And this is one of the reasons why I always tell people that are newbies, just, stick to like 2 or 3 initially, because if you have so many projects and you don't have a lot of funds, you'll be spreading yourself thin, So then even if a coin goes up, yeah, it goes up, but then it doesn't go up to a point where you want to take profit. And that's where you get into trouble sometimes too. But Velo is definitely a project. Like I said, I bought some maybe a year or 2 ago. I gotta check to see how that is looking. SHX is pumping right now. Shout out to Levante. You know what I'm saying? Hey, is this the Levante from the Telegram group? Let me know, bro. Because I think it. Oh, SH. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to SHX, man. I love it. You love to see it. You love to see it. You love to see it. Kaizo Yoshi says the average consumer is broke. They will definitely be more focused on meme coins. Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? And now they're talking about passing another stimmy bill, and I'm like, no. Another stimulus. Okay, all right, man. All right. Lonzo says Velo also about to link directly with XRP Ledger this year. According to who, sir? Like, who's your source? Who's your source? Let me know, man. Listen. I'm just curious. Drone Trucker says about 600K is a back before it spike. I'm one lucky dude. Yeah, Drone, you always be getting early into these projects, bro. Like you got to give me the drop, bro. You got to give me the drop. You know what I mean? That's another thing. And you know, I always tell you guys, and I find it weird. People get offended when I don't talk about their coin or don't know much about it. Like, listen, guys, there's so many coins. I can't keep track of everything, right? I mean, I make lists. This is 2024. We got 2025, which, you know, is only for the Patreon members, right? But I make lists like this to show, like, as a proof of work, right? To show these are coins that I'm researching. This was all the new coins in 2024, right? And then also I made a separate tab for meme coins, and then had my new coin investment, and then we had the Hall of Fame, right? So it's kind of like when people say, "Oh, you don't do like, bro." I have a proof of receipt of coins that I research every year. This is what I do, right? That's why you can see I give it the solo rating. Shout out to NBA 2K from 0 to 100, where I just look at different projects and review. And then guess what? I can't catch them all. And these are just projects that I reviewed in 2024. That's not projects that I reviewed in 2023 or 2022 or 2021. And it got to a point where I was talking about so many projects, I had to keep a tab on it. And this has helped tremendously. So that's one of the reasons I say, hey, man, make sure to, you know, join the Patreon, because it's definitely worth it. You know what I mean? Definitely. You know? Okay. Yeah. And so everybody, like I said, we got 40 people here today. That shout out to everybody, man. Listen, man, I don't know if some of y'all from Twitter or X, I got to figure out how to like get my stream improvised again or integrated again with X, because I was getting crazy views on X, right? And I haven't done a live stream in a while. So it's like, you know, because my schedule right now is just, you know, it's not very consistent. So, you know, I got to do it whenever I can, I guess. Alonzo says, Velo set for cross-border payments in China, commonly referred to as the XRP of Asia. Okay. Yeah. And like I said, I believe I own a little bit of Velo, but I'm going to be real with you. I haven't really kept up with Velo like that. It's been a minute. Yeah, I probably should follow them too, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely got to look into that. Distinguished Man says those people are not real cryptocurrency blockchain enthusiasts. They're looking for get rich quick, and if that's what they want, good luck to them. But they might be better to get a lottery ticket. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of, you know, and that's how it starts for some people. They get into it with a meme coin, and then, you know, you have some people though that they make money and then they want to learn more, and then they go through the learning curve, right? But yeah, a lot of people, let's just be real. A lot of people are not in crypto to really do the research and learn. That's why they don't really understand it. And that's why even in 2025, you have people that have heard of crypto now for years and years, but they still don't understand it, because the only information they're getting from crypto is through mainstream media. They're not getting crypto information by doing their own research. They're getting opinions from legacy media and then they use that third opinion then, party opinion then, to make it their own opinion instead of doing their research. And this is one of the reasons why, for me, it's very easy to know a person who has done some research in crypto and a person that's just talking out of their butt. Because it's very, very easy, especially in 2020, it's very easy to tell. And I'm pretty sure for you guys as well, you know when you're talking to somebody that knows about crypto for real, versus somebody that's just like a fair weather fan, or somebody that's just like doesn't know. Because people that don't know, it's very easy to expose them. And for people that don't really know, they shouldn't be talking then, in my opinion, because it's nothing more annoying than talking to somebody who's ignorant, and then they double down on their ignorance with not willing to hear with an open mind. There's nothing more frustrating than that. That's why I don't waste my time trying to convince people about crypto anymore, because we just got a 166 report by the White House, right? That, they strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. You've got various states that are talking about utilizing Bitcoin and other cryptos as a treasury. I mean, at this point, if people don't get it, I can't help them. You know what I mean? It just can't. Levante says, I wish I bought Stronghold in the BNB blockchain, but I have them in the Ethereum blockchain. Okay. I think the ETH version is better than BNB, but that's just because there's more volume in it, right? Last time I checked, right? Lonzo says, getting rich in 4 to 8 years is absolutely quick to me. In the traditional world, stocks, etc., 20 to 3 years is about average. Do you mean 30 years? With the right timing and right amount of money in the right crypto, absolutely has been shown for get rich cryptos. Happens all the time. It does, but the opposite happens more, right? Let's be real. More people tend to lose money in a meme coin than they make. You feel me? Yes, you hear the stories about the guy that put in $8,000 in Shiba Inu and then it turned into 4 billion or something like that, right? But let's be honest. How many of those is that the outlier, or is that the norm? Right? You already know. We're going into the biggest cycle ever in cryptos. A lot of us been stacking 4 years or longer. People like us will be rich quick. Yeah, like and we're still stacking and racking, right? People ask, are you still in Lunk? Still buying Lunk, for sure, right? Because guess what? Binance is still burning Lunk. So why wouldn't I buy Lunk? If Binance is still burning it, that tells me something is going on, right? Still buying XCN as well, even though XCN hasn't really done much since, February, right? So when we talk about, like I said, here's make sure to follow me on X, guys, because like I said, some of my calls have been spot on, right? But I made this list, right, a couple days ago, right? Well, more 10 days ago. But this is my top 5 sleeper coins, right? This is me right here, Solomon Jones on X, right? Notice what coin I got first. I got XDC first, right? Powering real-world asset tokenization, global trade on the R3 quarter, right? And we've been talked about this, but XDC is really going to be one of the ones, right? I got XCN. You guys know XCN, I rock with the community, man. The reason why I'm such a believer in XCN is because the community, even when I didn't know what XCN was at first, the community wasn't toxic like the Hex community, right? There's some communities that are just obnoxious. Let's just be honest, right? When I didn't know what Hex was, people were, you're dumb because you're not in Hex. Ha, ha, ha. You really think that's going to make me invest in your coin? No, be gone, right? But XCN community was persistent. They were like, yo, Solo, you really got to look into this, man, blah. And as soon as I did the deep dive, of course, like I do, always 3 months later, right? And you guys know I became very bullish on XCN. And I still believe, I do believe XCN is going to do very well. I think XCN can hit $10 within 5 to 8 years, right? I think everybody's talking about XCN to a quarter. I'm looking at XCN as a long-term hold. That's why I'm talking about $5 to $10, because people always like, it's like XRP. People are talking about, yeah, XRP is going to hit $5-6. Yeah, that's given. But we're talking about 5 years from now, where, you know, now you can have life-changing money, right? Your wife ain't got a slave no more. She can be a stay-at-home, you know, mother. Your mom, you can retire your mom and your dad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anything else before that is just, you know, it's just, you know, it's light. XPR network. Now, this is one I've talked a lot about on Patreon. Not too much publicly, but XPR network is also one that I think is going to be a game changer. They have a really great team. The CEO has already got, he was the first person to have a Bitcoin wallet on Facebook, right? So they have a really good team. I think that XPR network has massive potential. SHX, you already know SHX. Once again, it's a coin I don't talk about enough, but it's one of those coins that really, when I found out about SHX, I was just all in. I'm still in the coin, right? Zebek, of course, that is a coin that I recently got into, and I've been also, like I said, dollar cost averaging the dips. Not financial advice, but these are like the top 5 sleeper coins, in my opinion, right? That are people, these are, and what I mean by sleeper coins are, these are coins that are not popular. They don't get a lot of attention, right? That's why people are, why XRP ain't there, man? We don't got XRP. Because XRP is not a sleeper coin. People know about XRP, right? Like, people know about XRP. Just because Bitcoin maxis don't like XRP doesn't mean that XRP slept on. People know about XRP. But a lot of people don't know about XDC. A lot of people don't know about XCN. A lot of people don't know about SHX. And these are all great projects as well that have massive potential, especially if you don't have a lot of money or your budget is tight like me. These are great pickups, right? It may take a little bit longer for them to run, but once the utilities activate it, it's a wrap, right? I'll go $5 or $25. Algo. Where's Algo right now? Let's take a quick look. Where is Algo right now? Once again, it's so many projects, and once again, people get off. Oh, you never talk about this project, or you don't talk about this project a lot. Listen, if I talked about everybody, listen. How about this? How about this? If you're a Patreon member, I'll talk about any project you want me to talk about. I always say that, right? If become a Patreon member, I'll talk about any project you want me to talk about, right? Not Hex. If you want me to talk about Hex, I need like 100 XRP or 1,000 XDC. We're not talking about Hex. You know what I'm saying? Levante says, yeah, but Stronghold and Ethereum is expensive like most coins. It'll be worth it in the future when I take profits. Yeah, but even though it's more expensive, this is one of the reasons on the flip side is when it goes up on the ETH chain, it'll also go higher up in value than on ETH than BNB, right? And, you know, one thing I look at is liquidity, right? Because if you're trying to cash out, let's say thousands upon thousands or even hundreds, of thousands, right? Is there enough liquidity? That's something that you got to look at when you have a chain or a coin that is on different chains. Is there enough liquidity? And I don't think a lot of people look at that. A lot of people are just looking at the price. But I also look at the liquidity, because if there's not enough liquidity, then you can get clapped. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't do you good if your coin hits that number that you want, but then the liquidity is trash. You know what I mean? So looking at the SHX liquidity here, let's actually look at, and for people who are wondering how to do this, there's an easy way to do that, to look at the liquidity on different chains, right? We've talked about that before, but we can do a quick review right now, right? So I like to use CoinMarketCap because it's easier, but here it shows the different platforms that SHX is on, right? Oh, you know what? There's another one that might be easier. DEX tools too. Okay, so it shows the different liquidity platform, but they don't. Are you sure you bought SHX and BNB? Are you sure you bought the right SHX, my guy? Like, because I don't see BNB. Okay, I'm just wondering. All right. Yeah, I mean, they called it Hex, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know. But hey, to each his own. Listen, if you're making money off the coins and you're happy, if you like it, then I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to besmirch anybody winning, but some people just, you know, not every coin is for me, bro. Not every coin is for me. Just like not every coin may be for you. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. But anyway, guys, listen, I've been here for 2 hours. I gotta go. I gotta meet my buddy. We're gonna have a little powwow, probably talk about crypto as well, right? Because he's my boy that we talk about crypto. Yeah, guys, listen, more content is coming from me, right? I want you guys to know that sometimes life gets, you know, happens, and then you gotta, you know, but also make sure, guys, check out the Patreon, because like I said, the Patreon, I'm very active. I'm posting different videos. You get access to the 2025 cryptos tiers list that's only exclusive to my Patreon members. Also gives you insight on different coins that I'm, you know, investing in. And then also you get access to the Telegram group as well, okay? So you want to make sure that you are tuned in, because that's dope. That's a good thing to do. But yeah, guys, look, I know right now the market is not cool. It's, you know, it stinks, but look at it as a buying opportunity, right? Because you have people in here that say, if XRP goes below $3, I'll buy. XRP hit 275. I bet you those people didn't buy, right? So at the end of the day, this is an opportunity. And listen, we're close, okay? We're close. I think August is going to be a decent month. I don't know what's going to happen, but all the indicators have shown bullishness, right? Shout out to my TA guys. You guys know I'm not really a TA guy, but I do a lot of TA research, and different indicators, RSI, have bullish indicators for August. Worst comes to worst, I know XRP will do well this month. You know, but at the end of the day, I get it. You know, it just seems like this bull run or has just been trash, right? It's just altcoins, like I know a lot of people, especially the OGs, like brings 2017 back, right? I know that's what we're thinking. Bring 2017 back, or even bring 2021 back. But 2017, that was different. That was a magical summer, right? But I think what's to come in the future is going to be amazing if you stand strong, especially once that Black Swan event happens, right? Probably happens in September when they announce rate cuts, and then you're going to see a massive dump, and then they're going to pump it. They got to dump it first because they got to get it for the low, you know what I'm saying? And then they're going to pump it, right? But there's going to be a Black Swan event happening within the next 3 months, right? We know that. We know that. The MOAS is going to happen, right? It's going to happen. BitTorrent is a good project. I've actually mentioned that in my in one of the videos that I made last year, right? BitTorrent is a great project, I think, that has potential, but they have to perform better. So yeah, so BitTorrent is a project that I actually talked about last year, right? And notice here, you're not going to get this from any other YouTuber unless not right now anyway, but top 9 cloud storage cryptocurrencies. Cloud storage, what are we talking about? Right? Let's talk about let's wait, can you hold on a second? I got to play this video a little bit. And this is one of the reasons why on Trendsetter Crypto TV, we talk about not just what's hype, but we also talk about the trends that are set to emerge. Cloud storage is going to be one of those trends. I'm going to just play the beginning of the video for people, because a lot of people slept on this video. This is like one of my better 133 views. But this is one of my better videos because I actually wrote a script to this. But let's play the beginning of it. Artificial intelligence, aka AI, continues to set the trend when it comes to the technology sector, but not just in tech, but also in cryptocurrencies. Okay. Now, I asked ChatGPT, what are 20 trends that you see for AI? Number one is AI-driven automation across industries. AI will continue to automate a growing number of processes, especially in sectors like manufacturing, healthcare, and finances. Okay. Explainable AI, increased focus on developing AI models that can explain their decision-making processes, especially for sensitive applications. However, what I was looking for, and I was surprised that it was number 17, but this is good for me, super cloud storage for AI. As AI models require massive amounts of data, super cloud storage solutions will become critical for storing and processing large-scale data sets. Now, this is important. Why? Because AI uses a lot of storage, right? You have to train these AIs. And the reality of that is that because it's so complex and large, you need storage, okay? And so here's the thing. When I'm looking at this list, I know that everybody's talking about right now AI assistants, and some people are thinking that AI gaming or metaverse might be the next wave. And I think that they will. But when we talk about it in relation to the crypto sector, that's my focus. I'm looking at AI storage, okay? So 10 cloud storage cryptos by Trendsetter Crypto TV, tiers list, all right? Hey, and if you guys want me to bring the tiers list video back, because I've done some of them live, remember, guys? But the live streams take forever, but I love making those videos. But man, it's a lot of work because, that's where you can see I really get in my bag and I do my research. Let's see, to the gentleman, Red Star, let's see what I said about BitTorrent, and then we'll take it from there. Aspects of it, then yeah, right? So I'm going to give them a B tier for now. I do think that this project can make some waves. However, I think, they have a lot. There's high expectations with this project. Let's go to the next project. Project number 4, BitTorrent. And now some of you, this name might sound familiar. Wait, BitTorrent, the torrent website? Yes, BitTorrent, okay? They have rebranded themselves. I mean, they still deal with uploading and downloading, but they also are dealing with storage where you can have fast uploads and speeds due to its peer-to-peer network, especially for large files, okay? So BitTorrent has a legacy. For those of you who were teenagers or young adults in the early 2000s, you may have used BitTorrent, right? Listen, I use BitTorrent to download, allegedly, music, you know what I mean? And look, they're also working with DPIN in their infrastructure. So not only is it going to be decentralized, but also you're dealing with scalability as well, okay? And when you look at BitTorrent right now, it's very, very reasonable. It's very cheap. I know my DGens love. Hey, listen, bro. Look, what's the price of BitTorrent right now, man? Let me look at the price of BitTorrent right now, bro. Because if you ain't got a lot of bread and you want to take that risk, not financial advice, but if you feeling a little froggy, $25, man. Look, that's all. Listen, you turn that 25 into 25K 10 years from now. I'm not saying that'll happen, but I'm just saying, man, don't go crazy now. So, BitTorrent, I got to put in $1 million. Nah, don't do that. $25, $100 will get you right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, listen, crypto on a budget. I'm not going to deny it. Okay. $25 is all you need, right? 100 might have you Swayze, but don't go crazy now. I'm putting 10 racks into BitTorrent. You know what I mean? Because if this goes to 0, you don't know my name, period. This all-time high is a penny, okay? Now, BitTorrent, even though it has name recognition and all of that, it's a top 100 project, right? Can this have a phenomenal 2025 bull run? I think that for store, what it does, it's cool, but it doesn't really have the AI narrative like some of the other projects like Akash or Arweave or even Super ASA, artificial super intelligence. Okay. However, I will put BitTorrent here as a C project because they do have name recognition and they do have other products out. I don't know if that'll ensure its future success, but I do think that in 2025, you can certainly make some money, investing in this project. Let's go to the next project. Edge Network. Now, Edge Network has been okay. So you guys can watch this video. I'll post it in the chat. Like I said, and I'm very grateful for all my viewers. I know, I get excited. See, I was low key until I saw Leah on my screen. and who was the news lady? Remember the black lady? Anyway, that's why now you notice how my voice just raised an octave, right? There's nothing more refreshing to an old man like myself than a young, beautiful woman. Yeah, it does get the blood flowing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much for an old man like me because, Anyway, so without further ado, though, I do appreciate all of you guys. You know what I mean? Abundance is on the way. Wealth is on the way. Keep your head up, guys. I know life is rough right now. You know what I'm saying? But one day at a time, one step at a time, and that's really all there is. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do. And so with that being said, wait, they're not going to let me play my music? Are they serious? Oh, wow. Wow, they StreamYard, y'all some. See, they won't let me play the music. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna do something for y'all different, man. I'm gonna do something different for you guys. I'm kind of insulted that they would do that. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna watch this video. It's gonna take us out, and I'm gonna figure out a way, man. They won't let me play my song. So no more 52, no more the crypto outro, none of that. That's crazy. That is wild. That is wild. That is wild. Anyway. With that being said, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Have a nice day, guys. And that's all I can say.